Okay, welcome to Comic Books on TV podcast, episode number 2. This week, we're going to review Gotham, S.H.I.E.L.D., and Heroes Reborn, as well as the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon. Hunter, why don't you get us started? You wanted us to briefly touch on Gotham before we jumped into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes, I think that Gotham is... Actually, let's jump into Agents. Let's just mention Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. real fast. I am excited for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and this show is really got it going on. But Gotham, on the other hand, does not have it going on. It was so cool seeing some of the new stuff. They seem to have an idea of where they're going now. They seem to have. It's not I like that it's not the villain of the week format. Not just. I don't know. The villains, they're crazy, but Jerome just grates at me. The way he laughs so intentionally in your face, I have a hard time digging it.
He has to die. Like, it has to be a red herring. I would say red herring, but he has red hair, and I thought that might be a bad pun. But yes, he has to be a red herring. Like, there's no way that the Joker can already be this insane, because what's the point of having Batman? Like, that's the antithesis of his entire character, which is supposed to be, obsessing over Batman, and the insanity was not, or at least as I've never read it, was like prevalent before he had that interaction. When the Red Hood is always like presented as like a very timid, unsure of himself criminal.
Well, and even in versions where he maybe had a history in crime, say the original Batman movie or Batman Mask the Phantasm, in both of those he basically is like a low-level gangster, but he's not a psychopath. He hasn't lost his mind. Right. Like Joker, more than anyone else, like I like the Killing Joke version. I love he was a loser who was going to commit a crime and then had the day that drove him mad, and Batman is part of it. But even if it's not that drastic, he was already a bad guy. It's still the interaction with Batman that creates this psychopath that has truly lost his mind. And this kid, I wouldn't mind how crazy he was. You're right. If it was later on, if it wasn't still probably 10 years before Batman. But it's still, what gets me about this kid so much is the grating laugh. I feel like it lacks any of the natural creepy evil that Jack Nicholson had, that obviously Heath Ledger had, even that Mark Hamill has, especially that Mark Hamill has. That laugh, it cackles, it's loud, and you can't. It's like it's erupting from him, but it's not like he's pointing at you with his face and laughing at you just for a reason every time. Maybe sometimes, but every time he laughs, it's just so zany. I don't dig it at all.
They missed the boat on the scene this week. When I don't know his character's name, but David Frayne, the guy from True Detective season 2,
right.
He's like the new. His sister's the one that bashed Sionis's head last week.
Yeah,
but like they have this thing with him and with Jerome and this cannibal, and like he presents him a gun, and they're supposed to play Russian roulette, and like I got really excited because the Joker in my mind would just take the gun and empty every single one of those bullets into
just shoot you immediately.
He should have just been like bang 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 bang. Okay, now we're done. But instead he like. I am the boss now, and he like tries to like pretend like he's. I mean, it was totally overplayed and underwritten.
No, I agree. The obvious Joker move is he takes the gun and he maybe looks at it and then laughs and shoots the guy, pulls the trigger until he's dead.
Yeah. I was, and if he had done that, I would have been like, okay, that was cool.
Yeah. As it was, I mean, I read it as. He saw which chamber the bullet went in, so he knew how much time he had. It's not like the guy spun it and then couldn't see anything.
Right.
But still, even taking it best, that he was just convincing the guy he's crazy. He knew he wasn't gonna die. The Joker likes. See, that's why he's so tied to Batman. The Joker's not. He's not suicidal. not unless Batman kills him. He loves what he's doing too much. He enjoys fucking with Batman and that fight. He loves Thrive, and he's so built on it. This guy's a psycho, and if he wants to start acting like the Joker, but I'd probably still slow it down some. I mean, I like the stuff he's doing. I like some of the shit he's talking.
Well, I mean, as far as the content of the episode goes, we have to touch on this is the most violent comic book interpretation that's ever been put on screen. We had in this episode tossing bodies off of a bridge, the murder of one of the only female characters on the show, and then which gets me to if he had actually lit that bus on fire full of teenage cheerleaders, I may have just turned the show off because at that point, like, are we watching Saw or are we watching a show that's supposed to be a comic book show?
No, it's on a fine edge for me because the Joker doing those things, I'd be okay with.
Right.
It is not supposed to be the Joker yet, and if he's the Joker, then he should win because he's so psycho and he's so evil and willing to do whatever that no one but Batman is ever able to take him down right because he's unpredictably insane and he's that graphic. But to have just these psychos or that, I guess what bothered me about the scene wasn't that they were throwing bodies off for very little reason, but it wasn't how little respect they paid to it because they're supposed to be completely psychos. But then we're also supposed to not be like, they're supposed to make them almost anti-heroes in the way that they're making the show. They're like half protagonists.
Right. Which is my point. If they had lit the bus on fire, like, well, you can't have I mean, how can you ever watch any scenes with those characters and not just root for them to get killed or arrested or, I mean, it's taking it far to then do not much with it and to treat them like, oh, but they're funny. He's in the police station and you ain't seen nothing yet. And it's one, overacted, and two, they didn't leave. I feel like the show didn't pay the respect to those deaths. No, you actually, thanks for mentioning what happened at the police station because I meant to list that on the horrible violent acts of, I mean, just seeing like 12 cops get capped. Like, I mean, that was
the fact that this keeps happening.
Yeah.
Mr. Zaz went in, who's a terrible rendition of Mr. Zaz. Went in, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But he goes in there last year and shooting the place up. This guy's in here shooting the place up. Like, this is the least secure government building I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%. On the other hand, the addition of Lucius Fox is a much welcome event. It gives us a character of color on the show, which, as far as I know, there were literally zero.
Well, no, our dead Sarah Essen was she African American? She definitely had some kind of ethnicity to her.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So there was one or two, and I guess Chris.
Well, we killed her. So, which spoilers? This is Jim Gordon's later wife and like partner through in some versions up through Dark Knight Returns. In comics, the Joker murders her much later. Like it, and one, the fact that she's dead already is a pretty big step with an actual big character. And two, she was a good character and yeah, you're right, a strong female. It was they already turned one of their three female characters into a psychopath. Although to be fair, they did make her strong. She used to be just annoying and a pincushion.
Yeah, I mean, she was the most blandest female. I mean, last year Barbara wasn't a character, so at this point it's a step up.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
But yeah, but as far as the good things go, I mean, Lucius Fox, however stupid they had, I mean, don't even get me started. So Alfred is Bruce's legal guardian, but he's allowed to fire him.
Yeah, seriously. That was started, and then Alfred breaking the computer like that was kind of ridiculously out of character, I thought, and I thought it was that, and the whole firing of my guardian thing. It was all it was a device so that we can see Bruce and so we can see Alfred realize, I can't stop this kid from doing this.
Right.
I can help him, or I can watch him die. I can help him. I can help him be ready. I can help him do it right, or I can watch him die. It's kind of like the only way that they can ever, really do Bruce taking on Dick Grayson as Robin is that I've seen a couple of versions where they have, he goes out for vengeance by himself, and Batman stops him, brings him home like once or twice, and eventually he's like, well, this kid's just gonna die if I don't help him and show him how to do things. And this helps explain how Alfred could raise a kid to be Batman, because the kind of single-mindedness and abandoning of real life and the choices he makes, the danger he puts himself in, you've got to explain how this good person like Alfred could allow a child to do that. And so this was all a device to show us that, but it was poorly done.
But you know what? I'm fine with it poorly done, because the guy that plays Lucius Fox is a welcome addition, and him and Alfred like having weird back and forth banter. I mean, that actually opens up some avenues where they can partner Alfred off in some scenes that don't involve Bruce or don't involve forcing Gordon into their lives.
Yeah.
Like this kid goes to the police station like to hug like.
I was okay with that. Like I heard some people complaining last episode that they make a bomb to blow that door open. They can't just bring in. Aren't they billionaires? And it's like, one, they want their secrets. Bruce obviously already understands the power of secrets. And two, this is a kid who goes up to become Batman. He's a big fan of taking things in his own hands and handling stuff. So I have no problem with him blowing a door open in his own house. And I think it shows his character that he, how much, as cold as Batman is, and as cold as this kid is most of the time and trying to be him, at his heart, Batman is doing this because he loves so deeply that he can never get over the people he loves dying. And whether it's his parents or Jason Todd or whatever, it's those moments, it's the people around him that define him as more than just a vengeance machine.
The
sorry,
the kid that plays Bruce Wayne is now my favorite part of the show. Let's just have him. I would like to see from his perspective more. So obviously you or it's not obvious to the viewers, but my brother Hunter, you love Rome. Rome is one of your favorite shows.
Yeah.
Bruno Heller, the showrunner of Gotham, it was the showrunner of Rome.
Right.
And one of the best characters of Rome, the best character of Rome was
first year
Octavian.
Yeah.
And the way it was a person of small power watching the world and then gaining power through knowledge. And by the end of the first season, he was like the smartest one on the show.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's the direction that they take the Bruce character, because
no, you're totally right. That's an awesome analogy, and I hadn't even considered it. But you're right. The way they do Octavian there is perfect for how they should do Bruce Wayne. I mean, he needs to be. You explain him being the super force of nature that he is. He has to be smarter, more driven. That he needs to be more than just. Well, at 20, he trained to be a ninja, in the old movies. Oh well, he's real rich and he has body armor. Like they need to make him Batman. The smartest, the most dedicated, the most willpower. This kid, he's always in control, and he's young. This is the chance to show him make mistakes, have a little too much anger, learn these lessons. Like in week 1 of the season, he sends Gordon out to prove that. Your mission is important by any means necessary, but what the lesson is, no, not by any means necessary, because now Gordon just murdered someone and is guilty of homicide or commission of felony, which is all stupid. But that's a lesson that he has to learn while he's growing up. That no, not any means necessary. There's the lines we draw, and in this one, we learn the lesson that he needs Alfred, and Alfred can either abandon him or can be his partner and his teacher. And I love the Bruce character, and I like Alfred a lot too. I agree with you. Adding Lucius Fox, another actor I'm liking a lot to this mix. I hope that we see more of them and more of this kid growing to be Octavian, Batman.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see the connection with the way that, I mean, even if you didn't agree with the outcome of Gordon shooting the person, Bruce kind of manipulating him down that path. I mean, that's what made me put that together, was like, boy, that's what they showed Octavian do on Rome.
Yeah.
Was him, you manipulate, and this kid obviously is he's growing, and it's gonna be Bran Stark syndrome in a year or two when he's like 6'2". But
watching this episode, I noticed the same thing. I think you noticed after week 1. I noticed that this is like, whoa, he looks a good deal more mature.
Well, but before he grows into his physicality, I mean, they always show Batman learning his ninja skills and his, everything he learns on, his sabbatical, or if you will. And they never really show him like how he hones the world's greatest detective mind. So this kid in his non-physical state, using his mind to kind of control Gotham, is a very interesting angle to take.
Yeah, I agree.
So there we go. We had like 10 minutes of ripping on it, and then we stumbled into kind of praising their direction for a change. So if Gotham keeps going in this direction, we will have more good things to say about it in the coming weeks.
I agree. It's definitely come a long way since last season. I really like what they're doing.
I mean, I kind of wish that I could just watch the Bruce show without the monsters are coming. But, whatever. And Morena Baccarin continues to be awesome. I don't know if you heard the news this week that her and Benjamin McKenzie are not only together, but they're having a baby together.
Yep, I did.
So I'm not sure if, they're going to lay off putting them together, or if the reason why they keep removing love interests that we know Gordon has at certain points is to just kind of push them together.
Right. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, lots of shows just hide that stuff with different outfits and wardrobe. Right. But now that Barbara is a complete psychopath, we do need a new explanation how in 16 years there'll be a young Barbara Gordon running around in a cape.
Which, I'm not sure. Yeah. So he names his daughter, I guess, after his crazy psychopath bitch girlfriend. Is that what we're trying to?
I have no idea. Don't get it mistaken. I don't have a good answer, but that seems maybe she'll be pregnant, and then somehow the end of Barbara Keane's life will be redeeming herself by saving Marina Baccarin, what's her fucking name? But Leslie Tompkins. Maybe that's how they have her arc end, is being redeemed, and she dies, and they're like, we'll name the baby Barbara.
Yeah, she should be pregnant right now. She should be pregnant right now, unless they're gonna have Gordon and her like have some excuse. I mean, he can't have. There's no excuse that gets them back together. So if that's the case, she better be. I mean, she better be pregnant like now.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's so crazy she like stole some sperm. I mean, like they could.
That's a possibility. Or maybe she will. Maybe one episode we'll find Gordon tied down, locked to a room,
right,
and, raped for his man juice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certain that that's not out of the realm of a possibility on the show, considering.
That would be one of the least unrealistic things to have happened on this show. That makes sense. Yeah, if I say that's what they do, I'll be totally okay with it.
So Gotham. Is there anything else we want to discuss as far as Gotham season 2, episode 2?
I don't think so. They were, like I said, we don't not loving how much Jerome there is and how over the top he is. and quite how much they're just jumping straight to everything's so drastically psycho evil. But there are a lot of good things on the show. Definitely feel a lot better about the first 2 weeks. And I think we can safely move into S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 1.
Okay, so the season premiere of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 3, actually.
Right, Season 3.
Because I actually watched them out of order, Season 2 before Season 1, but this is there's the least wrong with this show out of all the comic book shows. And yet again, this episode was started off fast. I mean, I expected some sort of like, hey, the gang's all back together. Here's the status quo. But they start off with, all right, we're in the middle of a chase, and my name is Daisy, and here are my boobs. Was kind of what like. I mean, she has grown up in more than one way.
No, they started strong. They have the nice James Bond action opening, and then you find yourselves, we're 6 months later or whatever, and most things are moving on, and Coulson's got his new robot hand or something, and they're all, it's where's May? They're in the middle of new crisis mode. But it's all smooth. They do a great job jumping in and making you feel ready for this season.
So 2 things you just said that I want to hit on right away. Coulson and his hand.
Yeah.
So it occurred to me, I've been making this joke all summer. I've been calling him Coulson Skywalker. And it occurred to me during the episode, like, Disney owns the rights to Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah. Someone should be calling him Coulson Skywalker at some point on the show because they have the rights to do that.
That's true.
It's not a reference that they can't make. I mean, it's the same fucking company.
Yeah.
And then 2, missing characters. Ward, May, Simmons, anybody else overtly missing?
I don't think so. None of the main crew is there. We got Bobby, we got Hunter, we got all the main people.
It was just jarring not I mean, May is it was the reason I was like the hook for the show for me at a certain point, and it was odd not having her on. I have read that her role is reduced, but I think that was in reference to S.H.I.E.L.D. in the show and not like as the actress on the show.
Okay. Well, we know she went on hiatus,
right,
with her ex, whatever. So but I think the preview for next week's episode, I think she's in the preview. So, but unless that was just a coming this season on S.H.I.E.L.D., it seemed like she was going to be in it next week.
The stupid DVR cut off before the preview. So I did not get that part, and then I actually saw today that Ward is like going to be part of the second episode. So
yeah.
I love this show. I love. Okay, so do we want to talk about other things, or do we just want to talk about Fitz Bond?
Fitz was quite just the way he's talking to the limo driver and he's talking to the girl. You're like, this is a whole new guy. He was intense and he's kicking ass.
And that monologue that he has where he's like, I've traced this here, I've traced that there, and then you extremists raided this old thing, and so now you have it here. That was spectacular.
Yeah, no, he was great.
The best Scottish accent on TV for sure. And that includes Doctor Who, which I'm not sure if you watch, but
I do that.
Anyway, so yes, the show starts with action, and it picks up even more. Opinions on Lash. I believe that is the name of the blue, spiky-haired Inhuman.
Yeah. You know what? I don't recall much about Lash from my days reading comics. I don't have much preformed opinion. I mean, to be honest, I was pumped to see a real bad guy again. We had the Absorbing Man for an episode.
Right.
And every now and then we get Deathlock, to appear. But on the regular, it's a lot of espionage, which is cool. And when that's what they're doing, I think they've mastered the espionage portion of it. ever since that episode last year was kind of had a True Lies vibe to me, like episode 2 or 3. But it was cool to see a monster. It was cool to see, right, this is the Marvel Universe. This is kind of an offshoot of the Avengers or Secret Warriors or something. And Sky, full on power mode. She's like Daisy.
Yeah. That's one of this episode. My over under was 3. On the amount of times that we did that.
How do you feel about the name change? I mean, they made a point with him saying, "Well, it's sure getting hard for us, isn't it?" And they're like, "No, I think a little hard." He knew this guy for 2 years, got real close to her, obviously considered her family. I think it is. I don't know how I feel about the name change.
I like it. I can see how she would adopt it very with gusto. She Sky was just some random. She didn't have a name.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like it's not that hard comment that you just referenced was a meta commentary on people not being able to get Caitlyn Jenner's name right.
Yeah, me too. That's what I felt. And I felt.
So you felt the same way. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I felt. I was like, not that big a deal, Like she went by Sky a long time. To be honest, I can see it going the way where she's like, well, I know my dad, but my mom was kind of an evil bitch. My dad wasn't always great, and Sky is who I am, and I'm gonna keep the name Sky. So I can see it going either way, and I don't see how it's deserving of the meta punch, because I totally agree. That's what it felt like was a commentary on that.
Yeah, but we do know that. Eventually, she'll be going by her code name Quake. They have not given that to her yet.
Right.
Now, as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU is what they call it.
Right.
And first episode, right off the bat, they brought back the President from like Thor 2,
Iron Man 3.
Okay, that's what it was. And are basically like calling out Civil War. I mean, like we know Civil War is not going to be about secret identities. We know that, and we know that it's going to be based on the events of Age of Ultron, and it looks like that the Inhumans are going to be playing into that because, it feels like we're starting with Civil War right now.
It has that kind of vibe. It really does. I mean, it also has the vibe of X-Men and. Right. Every X-Men Future Past, every good X-Men story that involves the kind of inherent racism against mutants and that kind of thing. So it definitely seems like it's drawing straight to Civil War, I guess.
Well, when Constance Zimmer, I don't think we have a name to her yet, but it was when she was she said, I mean, what she said and what the president said. I mean, I feel like that's. Like basically the Marvel Universe being like, here's Civil War coming, y'all, and it's going to be based,
Yeah.
But as far as Constance Zimmer, how awesome was that scene on the train with her and Coulson?
That whole scene was great. It was great showing off her how bad she is when she totally nails them, and then their little banter back and forth was fun, and then the escape and how just. How badass Coulson is always cool.
I just love I feel like I'm talking to a ghost. Well, I feel like I'm talking to a corpse.
Yeah.
That was such a great line. And then when she drops so Tahiti, I hear it's a magical place.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. And already I love that character.
No, she's good. And that was cool to see.
Was she on Smallville?
I don't know. I don't really know where I know her from off the top of my head.
Right.
She's familiar as hell. I'm sure I should have Googled it. I actually kind of thought you might tell me. I don't think it was Smallville.
I know what it was. She's Dana Gordon on Entourage.
Oh, Entourage. Yeah, that's what it is. Totally right.
That's totally what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the female Ari.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah,
she's always good too. She fits well. I was excited when I saw her. So I was like, I can't remember what she was in, but she's good. So yeah, Entourage, good call.
And now, what the only flaw, as far as I'm concerned, with the first episode of season 3 was the kind of force feeding us this Lincoln dude. Which I know he was a character last year, and I know that girls love this actor, but like
who is he? Do the girls love this actor? Who is he?
I have no idea. I just know that there was.
He's dreamy.
Yeah, and there was a big what was it? There was some clever hashtag name for her and or for him and Sky as a relationship last year.
Huh. Okay.
But I didn't really think that it was. I mean, like, we have to go to this one doctor, and we know he's going to be he's a regular on the show. So that was a little like, all right, well, you didn't have to, jump into him right away.
I have no feelings about him one or the other, so I didn't really care or mind. I did like the showing them rescuing this new Inhuman and putting him in the cage, but talking to him the whole way, be as reasonable as possible, try and, not. I like them showing the difference between them and other government agencies and the way that things are handled with mutants, usually in the X-Men universe. And I also like the moment he started freaking out, Sky just, and the guy is on the wall. It was cool, and I'm interested to see where this guy comes from and how they're going to use him. He's a decent guy. What's her name? Bobby Morse.
Adrian Balicki.
Yes, Adrian Balicki. She's cool. She's a good character. She acts well. She's hot. She's badass when she fights. I like having her on the show. I think she was a great addition to the show last year. I'm glad they're keeping her around.
Yes, and Hunter is also very cool.
Hunter is very cool.
Asshole. Because he's probably my favorite character on the show. Now, can you feel the spinoff happening with them, or have we even confirmed whether that's going to be a prequel? Like, we know that they're getting their own show, but do we know they're leaving S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I do not know if they're leaving the S.H.I.E.L.D. And I haven't heard, is their own show official yet, or is it still being tossed about with is the Agent Carter season 2 or the show, or then after that? I mean, is it finalized yet, or is it still just kind of what they're planning?
Yeah, they've there's a script in the works for a pilot, and they're going to try to shoot it to have it ready for to see if they want to pick it up for next summer.
For next summer, okay.
Yeah. Because
well, I mean, I guess you definitely feel them setting up for their own thing, but I guess they'll probably, whether or not they leave, I'd probably leave S.H.I.E.L.D. I doubt they have them both.
It would be really. I kind of think it should be a prequel, and in that way they could bring back Xena.
Yeah.
And like have it set. There was where did the other black guy come from? And I don't mean to sound racist, but I know Mac's name, but what?
The one that's dead?
Trip. Yeah, was he part of their crew, or was he from?
He was with Ward's mentor. He was with Bill Pullman.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Wait.
Pullman or Paxton? Paxton.
Screw you.
No, I'm serious. He was with that guy, the Hail Hydra.
My favorite line of the show.
He was great. I loved him for his 2 or 3 episodes.
But anyway, so yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. season 3 looks to be. Arrow's going to have to come back strong, and Flash is going to have to stay as strong as they were in season 1 for this not to be the one that comes out on top next spring, I think.
I think Flash, assuming they keep it up, is fine. Arrow, a year ago going into season 3, I thought the Arrow was just going to be the strongest. But Arrow definitely is not as good as S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point. They make more mistakes. They don't have their logic as tight. Arrow needs to up its game this season. Flash, I'm confident about. Flash is my favorite, I think.
Yeah, I'm imagining that as the connections get stronger to Civil War, that may mean that hopefully that means the show gets stronger as well.
In the past, it has. It was when it brought in its ties to Thor 2, it started having some better episodes, and then when it tied itself so tightly to Captain America 2 was really when it started to explode and get good as a show.
And didn't they referenced Ant-Man on Tuesday?
Yeah.
They had
they talked about Fitz having theories about the Palmer technology.
Yeah. Okay, so where the fuck is Simmons now that we've covered everything else?
Negative Zone?
Well, no.
It's probably FF, isn't it?
If they don't have the rights to Negative Zone, we just saw the Planet Zero in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, you're right. So is Negative Zone Marvel U thing then? Or is that DC and I'm just...
No. Josh Trank's just an asshole and decided to call the Negative Zone something else to not make it too comic booky.
Okay, but FF does have the rights to Negative Zone?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
That director's just a dick.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so, I mean, she's on a planet and she's breathing without any help, which has got to, narrow the options. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I mean, I don't know.
It would be the coolest thing ever if somehow, the Guardians could be involved. She's obviously in space somewhere. Like, can we obviously Chris Pratt's too busy for this and too well paid.
They could have at least Nova.
Zoe Saldana probably, she's not going to do it. But you would think that Bautista, they might be able to get Bautista for an episode.
Yeah, definitely. Or at least they get someone from the Nova Corps and at least tie it in that way. It wouldn't be a famous face unless they got John C. Reilly, of course. But I love that he was just that guy in the Nova Corps. Oh, but I don't know. I don't know what planet. Like if it was DC, I'd have lots of guesses. But at Marvel, you've got the Corsair, the Starjammers, but they're X-Men. The Shi'ar and Lalandra are X-Men.
Okay, so now that we're just straight up talking about this, there's no. So the Shi'ar in them, that's X-Men stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now in the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon, the one that aired Thursday or whatever, there's reference to Spartax, and there's the whole plot is based around Spartax. And I looked that up in the Marvel database, and that is Shi'ar related. So how does that work?
TV shows, I believe the TV shows have different rights than the movies.
Or animated shows have different,
Maybe it's just the cartoons. I mean, the cartoons obviously do. Well, maybe not obviously, but I'm pretty sure. I think TV in general, the rights are somewhat different. I'm not positive it still is. Maybe that's changed. But I believe in the TV world, they can do more things. That being said, maybe, it was handled in some lawsuit and got slipped in the way that the Inhumans are being used by Marvel as opposed to by the FF, because right. I don't know when the FF or the Inhumans stopped being FF related, except when they're their own thing. I don't know how you would try and pretend that they had something to do with the Avengers and the overall Marvel universe.
Well, because technically, they come from the Kree, and technically the word Kree showed up in the Avengers before FF.
But but the Kree are mostly, weren't the Kree mostly in FF villains though until the invasion?
All of it, yeah, 100%. All of it, they were. Anything cosmic related was 100% FF.
FF or sometimes X-Men.
Yeah.
Right. So if the Kree can be Marvel Universe, I don't understand that either, because obviously maybe they were first in Avengers, but if that's the logic, then why does Marvel get to use Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch when they were first Brotherhood of Evil Mutants? That Avengers more often, but if all it takes is being more often, then FF should have Kree and probably Skrull also.
They do have Skrull.
They do have Skrull?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Well, no, I mean, fuck, why do we want them to have anything?
I mean, really, it should all be connected, but.
Can you still hear me?
Not very well, no.
Hold on a second. I had to move my mic to a different USB so I could plug in my computer. Is that better?
I really can't hear you very well.
Is that better?
No.
How about now?
It all sounds the same. It sounds like the mic just got muffled.
Huh.
There it is.
Oh, that's okay?
Whatever. It was loud down by your hands. Is your mic plugged in still? Maybe it's your computer mic I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, that's what I just checked. It says it's plugged in, and it says it's going to that. So.
Tap that microphone. Do one of these.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything on that. Speak into it.
Hello.
I think it's off.
Okay, well, I'll switch it back then. How's that? Is that still no good?
I can understand you. I can hear you. It's just not. It doesn't sound clean and loud like it was.
Yeah, well, it's not. Obviously, it's not coming through on there. Shit.
What was that?
I said, obviously, it's not coming through on there. Let me try one more time.
Okay, try one more, and if not, we'll keep going. I'll unplug mine, and hopefully it'll be equalized.
Is that better?
No.
No?
Exact same.
It says it's better.
What was that?
It says it's better. Like I can see the. Huh. I wonder.
Maybe it's a little bit better. Just lean back, or say how you're going to be when you're talking. Let's just keep going.
Okay. I forgot. I don't know what I was saying. So.
Me either. Something about the Kree and humans. We were just talking about that. The Skrulls. Who owns what? And
okay,
what could we? I think what could we expect to see with the? Oh, where was Simmons? That was it.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, anyone who's listening.
Well, one internet theory is that she's going to be the precursor to Captain Marvel.
Huh.
And that what Captain Marvel powers are Kree, and so that is all connected somehow in a way that I'm not quite sure, because the current Captain Marvel, which is like a Muslim girl named Kamala Khan. So
I thought Captain Marvel just was a Kree.
Well, like I said, now she's an American teenager living in. She goes to the same high school as Peter.
Well, okay. Well, that's cool, I guess, but I don't know crap about that person. So, So is that the best guess then? Is it she's on the Kree's home planet?
Well, it would be more populated. We know because the Kree has shown up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like 2 seasons ago, or it was right on the Thor: The Dark World connection.
The body?
No, there was the guy who when Lady Sif showed up the second time, she was fighting this dude who like had this staff that could make her lose her memories.
Yeah. Okay.
And at the end, he's a Kree warrior. At the end of the episode, he even turns blue.
Okay.
But
you would think the planet would look more populated if it looks like a moon. You know, it looks like it has no atmosphere, no clouds, no fauna or flora. So I don't know what it is.
my hope is that whatever it is that we find out rather quickly, so we don't have to deal with teasing it out for episode after episode after episode. Like, is she going to be back? When she, we
I hope we find out what's going on, and she's not just stuck on a fucking random planet somewhere. So as long as she either gets back, meets some people, we find out who they are, or as long as there's some progression in her story, I don't necessarily care if they find her, but I want to see it. They need to tell us something. So, but they just barely showed it. Hopefully next episode they'll really get into it some more. So it's a little soon on that one. What else? So Hunter is going after Ward and the new Hydra.
Yes, you're gonna have fun hunting Ward.
That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be very cool.
Yeah, Lance Hunter is in the comics. He's like the British version of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
In this, obviously, he's more like bounty hunter-ish or whatever. But I just want Nick Blood on this. I mean, whatever keeps Nick Blood on my television. That guy is so funny.
No, he's good.
And Adrian Palicki as Mockingbird. I was under the impression she was like seriously injured, but she seemed to be walking around just fine.
Oh, you mean in real life, or you mean from the last episode?
Well, no, this is actually just from reading the stuff that reading interviews with the actors over the course of the summer.
So you're saying in real life she thought she was injured?
No, okay. I guess I'm not phrasing it right. In every scene, in everything that anybody mentioned Bobby going into this season, they always talked about how like Ward fucked up her leg and she was gonna like have to change her life. And I didn't see any evidence of that.
Well, I mean, they were saying she was still in physical therapy and couldn't go back in the field. We know she took a bullet through the chest when she saved Hunter, and I guess Ward beat the crap out of her. We know it's already been a few months. It's been long enough that Coulson, I think, probably inappropriately has saying he's moved on from looking for Simmons. They're accepting she's missing.
Seriously.
What?
Seriously.
Yeah, that seemed a little out of character. He never gave up on Sky, never wanted to give up on Ward, but Simmons is missing a few months. Well, we got a life to live. She wouldn't want us to waste time like, looking for her or trying to save her or anything. And I'm not saying you throw away everything else, but even for a minute, hold it against Fitz that he's still looking. I don't think that's really in his character.
No, I wouldn't hold it against him at all. You referenced Arrow 2.5 and like the in-between season stuff that the CW does.
Right.
Damn, I wish there was like a what spin fits. Like if that was the last of his adventures, I kind of wish I could see the rest of his adventures of going off on his own looking for Simmons.
For Simmons. Yeah, no, definitely. Especially I want to see where he found those balls and became cool all of a sudden, because he was cool, and I'm excited for what Fitz can do this season, how they're going to use him. He definitely seems to be over his stuttering, anxiety and mental issues, which good for him. See, is there anyone else we haven't talked about in S.H.I.E.L.D.? Anything that we've managed to gloss over?
I mean, I guess we did kind of gloss over the main action sequence. But I mean, that is what it is. It's badass. What do you want me to say? We're here to break down, alien races and which comic books they came from.
Do you know much about Lash?
I do, only because I've read quite a bit about him leading up to this season. He's played by that the bully caveman from Year One.
Yeah, that's why I thought I could see through his makeup. I know he is. He's been in a lot of stuff as the big
right. So I kind of always liked that guy, even though that movie was
disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah.
Boring.
But anyway, yeah. So he's a when the mass like Inhuman thing happens or whatever they're gonna call it. He decides that he's going to be the judge, jury, executioner of whether these Inhumans that are becoming inhuman deserve their powers or not.
And at this point, he just decides none of them do.
I have no idea. Maybe he's got like 4 or 5 that like he's chilling with back in the thing. And he's like, all right, you guys are cool. I have no idea.
That's true. I'm curious. I mean, he looks powerful. Obviously, he doesn't look, incomprehensibly powerful, being that just took two Inhumans and a guy with a pistol to, get rid of him. But he does look badass. He looks powerful. And I'm excited to see them moving away from just espionage into more of the actual metahuman business. I mean, they obviously with Inhumans, they flirted with it a lot last year.
Collaborated with the British, and we are still an informal.
British?
The Simpson came unpaused in the background. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, Marge and Homer. Oh my God, I could barely watch that episode. What the fuck? We're not here to talk about the Simpsons and fucking divorcing couples living together for 28 years.
Yes, we're definitely not.
Shit. I forgot what I was gonna say.
I
turned my volume up on the Google thing, so hopefully it sounds better. Or
okay. It's sounding better to me, but maybe I'm just not used to it. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter.
Either way, it's recording it at a higher volume.
Okay, cool. All right, so anything else from S.H.I.E.L.D., or shall we talk about Heroes?
We can talk about Heroes. I was looking at my my list. I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. is awesome. Can't wait to see what they have in store. It's not. It doesn't hit the highs of the CW shows, but boy, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I agree. It's a solid TV show. It's fun. I like most of the actors and the characters. They don't have ridiculous lapses in logic and just people doing silly things out of the ordinary almost ever. I really like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think they're doing a great job with it. I hope that Mockingjay and Dude Manhunter get their own show. That'd be fun. I want more of this. I want Agent Carter.
100%. I mean, like during the summer, that would probably be the slot for it. Yeah, I got here. I already said that. But sure, why not? I mean, Marvel. I mean, there's just like there's no reason to watch shows that aren't Marvel when there's or DC when there are this many on at a certain point. Fuck, man. You want to do the intro for Heroes? Because I kind of lost what I was talking about.
Sure. Heroes. I think as you said last week, there's rarely been a show that I felt there was less of a need for. But, man, I liked it. I really did. I thought that the way they brought in the new characters was cool. I liked them bringing back HRG, Horn Rim Glasses, and him kind of helping to bring things back together with Dynatech and all the other stuff. I really like I don't know his name. I can't remember it, but the new adolescent dude who can teleport people places. I like the actor. I like how they've had his story so far. I like what's his name? The nerd, Chuck. What's his name? Do you know it?
No, so I'm going to be honest. They could just call this like anything, and I would be like, all right, this is cool. It's a show about people with powers. It has been, 5-6 years since Heroes season. I mean, when you did the intro, I was going to say like, what season is this? What episode of this?
Right.
As cool as it is, and as good as it is, like a show about people getting with powers, like, didn't we just talk about that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Like, there's no need for this to exist with the other comic book shows on TV. But I'll take it. So,
I like it. I think that the first episode was real good, and I'm excited to see how that plays out. It really is. I mean, to pretend that Horn Rim Glasses guy to Agent, whatever his name is, was the main reason people watched it or was a linchpin character, it's silly. We've lost all the main characters, even bringing, I think they're bringing Hero back in the next episode or two. I don't. Did anyone ever really care about him? Wasn't it always about Cheerleader or Petrelli or fucking Siler? We'll see how things go. But as long as they do a good show, I'm in with it.
Was the black guy? And again, I'm sorry, but I don't know the actor's name. Was the black guy who like was assisting Horner and Glasses? Was he on the show before, or is he a new actor that I know from somewhere?
The one that killed?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that was the guy that he rolled with him in the old series that would make people forget everything and would wipe their memories constantly.
He was okay, so he was in the old show.
Yeah. He was Agent whatever the hell's sidekick.
Ooh, yeah.
Bodyguard.
I have so little memories of this universe and like the rules it played, but it doesn't even play by its own rules that it's set out with. So I guess I guess you just have to take it for what it is.
Yeah. No, but who's the actor that the guy you watched that show, Chuck? Who is that? What's his name?
Zachary Levi.
Yeah, he was good. I liked him. I thought he was cool. I thought it looks like they're gonna make him the kind of like they ended up doing with Siler in season 2, where he was still the bad guy, but they were making him more human. The other chick's kind of just an annoying psycho, but a badass.
He's very cool. He's gonna make a cool villain. It's or whatever you want to antagonist, if you will. But boy, does it kind of make me sad because I thought that dude, like, I was thinking like, boy, DC's gonna cast him as the Flash.
As someone big, as something real.
Yeah, I mean, or at least like he'll be on, CSI New Orleans, So I did not think that his career would still be on third-rate NBC sci-fi shows. And it's not an insult to the role. It's just, boy, that actor had a lot of potential.
I mean, he's well known. He's treated like he hosts that Geeks Who Drink show on Sci-Fi. I know I've seen him in a few other things as far as being like a personality. He's famous for being a cool, talented, good-looking guy in the sci-fi genre or the comic genre. But you're right, he hasn't ever really popped.
He's like the king of Comic-Con. He does this thing called the Nerd Machine where he like hosts off-site panels.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he's like the king of con. And that's where he gets a lot of his nerd cred from. And he's married to Missy Peregrine. You remember that girl from Reaper?
Yeah.
She's another one where I was like, boy, I thought that she was gonna go places too, but
she got her own show, didn't she? Like some cop show.
Still rocking it.
A while, I never watched it.
Rookie Blue, ABC's on the summer.
Yeah, definitely never watched that.
No, I've never seen the episode, but I love her, or I liked her a lot on Reaper.
I loved Reaper. Reaper was awesome. That was the show I was sad to see go.
And that's one where I'm confident that none of those people are doing anything, and they could reboot it right now.
Dude, that one guy, the fat loud friend, they thought he was gonna make it big. He's had like 5 shows that have started and bombed miserably since then. But I thought he'd be big too. I thought she'd be big. I loved Reaper, and I hey, reunion time for sure.
Yeah, and what's the dude that was just always down to hang out? He was the guy from Old School. Is that like
the other best friend, Hispanic?
But he like didn't have a role.
Old School.
He was just down to hang out all the time. That was like my favorite part about that show.
Yeah.
The devil certainly gets work. Well, anyway, we didn't mean to devolve into a conversation about Long Dead, but again, we're talking about a Long Dead show. You know, Reaper and Heroes aired around the same time. To be
honest, I think they should have rebooted Reaper instead. Now that we talk about it,
100%. Like, I mean, that show had a lot. Yeah, Heroes is. I mean, it was when it came out. What was that? 2005.
5 or 6, somewhere in there. Yeah.
And it was like during Lost's 3rd season when Lost like went off the like deep end with its like time traveling LaFleur stuff. And it was like there was no. It was like introducing sci-fi fantasy to television. But now we have a whole. This podcast exists. Like back in the day, we would have been like heroes. That's it.
Heroes I have a lot of love for the attention it brought, the genre, the acceptability it brought, the fact that it's because of Heroes and in Smallville that we are where we are today, where we have 5, 6 shows. We have Daredevil. We're gonna have Jessica Jones. We are hopefully gonna get the Titans. Fingers crossed. I read again recently that Titans is still on. They're still putting things together. So hopefully, I can't imagine it'll be ready for spring like they thought, but hopefully summer next fall.
So next week we will be back with Shield, Agents of Shield, season 3, episode 2, Gotham season 2, episode 2, and Heroes Reborn.
Gotham season 2, episode 3.
Season 3, correct? Yeah, that's one ahead. And Heroes Reborn, whatever the fuck it is.
Season 6, season 5, episode
2. It better stay good to keep my attention.
No, you know what? Started good. It has my attention. But you're right. There's so many other things, and we're not even there yet. Once Supergirl comes out, once Arrow and Flash are on.
Well, that's what I was getting to. So next week, we will also be back with The Flash, Season 2, Episode 1, and Arrow, Season 4, Episode 1. Could not be more excited. Yes, those air next week. Any thoughts on Flash, what you've seen in the trailers so far?
I just rewatched the last episode of last year for Flash.
Okay.
And, man, that show is just so freaking solid. And I'm excited, man. We know Jay Garrick's coming. We know what The Edge is playing Atom Smasher or JSA's Atom. We know that Wally West is coming this year. I'm pumped. I don't know how to say it. I love The Flash. I love that they're just going head first into the pool of comicdom and fantasy and nerdom. There's no holding back. I'm excited.
Yeah, so here's just a theory I had, and I don't know if there's no real reference for this. That computer that Harrison Wells was dealing with last year, the one from the future, Gideon?
Yeah.
So that's got to be like the latent the Skynet or the beginning of the Anti-Monitor, right? Like a sentient computer that deals with multiverses, that can see into other versions of universes. That has to be the beginnings of the Anti-Monitor, correct? Not correct, but right?
Could be. It could be that. It could have some ties to a mother box. It could. How did he?
These are. The point is that anything is if they want to do a fucking Crisis on Infinite Earth, sure, why not? If they want to do New Gods, why not? Mr. Miracle would fit so perfectly on this show.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even have to deal with Granny Good. You could not that they would stay away from the crazier ones, but season 2 is probably going to be Earth 2, but I imagine that the Earth 3, 4, 5, Alpha 6, whatever
Yeah.
You can go any direction you want. I'm hoping that in the Earth 2 with Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
That there's then there's been no pictures of this, so I have no reason to believe that there is. But I'm hoping that there's a Stephen Amell plays a version of Green Arrow with the red gloves, and the pointy hat with the red arrow.
Yeah.
I hope that put Stephen Amell in that Golden Age costume just for one scene, and I will shit myself.
I don't believe there's a chance in hell they do that, but that would be awesome. I would even take if they just put him on in his regular costume, but with the full-on pointy beard and the mustache, the full Green Arrow facial hair. That would be great.
Well, I was just thinking
the Neil Adams look. Give him the pointy hat the mustache and the beard, and we're good to go. Just for, like you said, just have him shoot somebody and then run away. I don't care. That'd be awesome.
Well, he did. He got his arm guards this year, which, as a diehard Green Arrow fan,
Yeah.
We have not discussed this on the podcast, but I counted the other day. I have 7, one for each day of the week, Green Arrow T-shirts.
Nice.
All of which predate the show. So take that, internet.
Hipsters. Green Arrow's awesome. My
he's got his arm guards. That was my point.
What was that?
My point was he's got his arm guards, and it's been 4 seasons, so good fucking about time.
I'm excited. My dream for this season is that he, for some reason, starts making some bad personal decisions, and maybe he cheats on Felicity. I want to see him get in a fight about doing things morally in his company, being more environmentally friendly, and then start drinking when he's done and getting pissed off. And I want to see Green Arrow. You know, I want to see the Green Arrow from my life. Some of the best comics around, man. The Green Arrow is like Batman. You can put him in so many different scenarios because he doesn't rely on, he's super fast, he can fly, he can pick shit up, he's bulletproof. You can do so many things with him. And unlike Batman, you don't have to pretend he's perfect. So you can do so many interesting stories. And they're doing a good job. They're telling some great stories. They've also been simplistic over the last year, I think, and devoted way too much time to one major thread. I'm excited.
My hope for this season, and it's probably not going to happen, is obviously him running around with Hal Jordan in just some.
It's got to happen. He's going to Coast City, right?
Well, yeah, but did you see that post that Mark Guggenheim made with like the in blackest day, in brightest shit?
Yeah. The poster with the city's like tag or something.
Yeah. But if we're not going to get Hal Jordan, and you're not going to go to my favorite Green Arrow comics, which are the Hard Traveling Heroes from Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil, go to, and they're never going to do this, but like it'd be awesome if him and I guess it'd have to be Laurel ran off to Seattle for like 4 episodes.
That would be awesome. I'd have been fine if the whole series took place in Seattle, because that worked fine in the comics. Star City's cool too, but that's one thing that Marvel has, is that because all their characters are based in real or realistic version, or they have real city names, even if they do crazy things with them, and they are right. That'd have been cool. But I agree. I would take a visit. I would take a trip there. If he's gonna be on Coast City anyway, he could swing by. And dude, they mentioned a pilot missing, right?
They mentioned a Ferris Air. Yeah, they straight up referenced Hal Jordan, like not even a joke.
But who mentioned him? Was it in Arrow?
No, that was on Flash.
Okay, so if he meets Hal Jordan could just be some pissed off pilot who just got out of the Air Force, or is on leave or something, or maybe he has to go on to do some mission with this pilot. There's no reason he couldn't hang out with Hal Jordan, even if Hal Jordan's doesn't have a ring on.
No, I have a sneaky suspicion that the flashback arc this season is gonna be an homage to the Hard Traveling Heroes run with him and Hal, but they had Dinah with them too, so
not for the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I actually reread some of those recently, and those are just incredible. But I mean, as far as the going to Seattle thing, I mean, you're totally right. By all rights, this show should be set in Seattle, and it shouldn't deal with the rest of the comic universe. I mean, that's the run of Green Arrow that they drew from for so much. But you know, the fact that we got Flash out of it, like I'm okay with that.
No, I'm okay with them doing anything they want, man. They do a great job.
Mike Sprout, that's that fucking writer. Sorry, the '80s guy. I'm sorry, it took me a minute to think of the writer's name. Grell. He's the guy that did the hard traveling here, or the longbow hunters and
Longbow Hunters, yeah.
But the ones the run after that, where it was just like him in Seattle for like 5 years.
Yeah, there's a long run. That's where the good, like, even after Longbow Hunters, when they started his comic that was suggested for more mature readers, because it had violence, and that's when he stopped using silly arrows ever. And so he was always, it's like in the first season of this show, just fucking shooting people, arrows. He wasn't killing them very often, almost never, maybe once or twice. Yeah, and it was always a big deal and terrible. But it was graphic. There was nudity. It was serious. That's the Green Arrow stuff that I love. And so I guess, you know what, maybe it's unfair to say that's the Green Arrow, since that version was only really, 7 or 8 years. But man, maybe
Green Arrow, like they took a dead character who had never had his own book before, ever. He had been in the back pages of Brave and the Bold for most of the 70s and 80s.
Well, he and Green Arrow had the Green Arrow, Green Lantern was its own comic.
Yeah, they had to shoehorn him into that. I mean, the ones you're talking about, that was the first standalone title. And you don't get Quiver without that. You don't get so much of that the Winnick run where he goes away for a year, comes back, and I mean I guess they referenced a lot of that too for season 2.
Yeah.
My little brother was shocked at how many Green Arrow stories there were, and I had to tell him, I was like, boy, Green Arrow has like 100 of the stories of Batman and Superman. But there's still so much more for the show to draw from.
There is, and to be fair, Green Arrow has been around since like 1942. I mean,
yeah,
he's one of the oldest characters there are, and other than the Archer motif, and he started out kind of as a Batman clone, but he grew into his own character. I mean, he's been his own independent and interesting character since the 60s. I mean, he's the first one to have take a really aggressive stance on moral issues and politics and the environment, and he's been a kind of character that has grown on me even more as I've gotten older. And that's my only problem with the show, I think. Well, not my only problem, but my main problem is that they just won't. They make him much too much like Batman, as opposed to being the human, interesting guy that he really is.
Well, I will. I'll forward you this link, but there's someone put together this amazing history of Green Arrow that I just consumed a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's like a college essay or something, but it's brilliant. It's like 10 pages. Apparently, the very first origins of Green Arrow was that he was a college professor who was fascinated with Indian and Native American artifacts. And went to train with Native Americans and learned to be an Indian.
Really?
I cannot swear the veracity of this guy's paper, but
that's what he claims.
Yeah, and he has references. I mean, again, I'm so fucking high, and I was not going to check his references, but and I was like, man.
Do you have access to Green Arrow comics from the 50s and 40s?
I mean, no, and the first Green Arrow comic is. I should know this. I think it's More Fun Comics number 92.
More Fun Comics sounds right for sure.
It has the first appearance of Aquaman and Green Arrow in the same issue.
Oh, I didn't know they were in the same issue. I knew Hawkman was old too. Speaking of Hawkman,
no, I said Aquaman. I'm sorry.
Oh, Aquaman. Okay, I did know that he was that old. Yeah. That's cool. All right, so a few last things. I guess we're getting close here. New previews for Jessica Jones and for Supergirl.
Yes. Well, by Supergirl, do you mean the little featurette with the cast?
I've seen 3 different things. I saw especially during football yesterday, there was a real not a long preview, but a new preview, new images, some new tags. Just her profile and a few different little featurettes, some interviews is all coming up. And then Jessica Jones dropped 2, I guess, official sneak or teasers or whatever you want to say. So,
very excited for Jessica Jones. Daredevil blew my freaking mind last year when I watched it. I imagine Jessica Jones will do the same thing. I actually am going to go to the comic store and try to get some of. They've just republished them. The Alias, which was like the introduction. They kind of redid her character and where this is going to come from.
Show Alias?
No, that was the name of the Brian Michael Bendis comic about Jessica Jones.
I remember that comic coming out, and I just thought it was a comic based on the show Alias.
Right, me too. But no, that's where like her like whole, her origin is that she was a superhero who gets mind controlled and sexually abused for 6 months, and then she realizes that no one noticed that she was gone, so she says, "Fuck it, I'm not going to be a hero anymore."
Right.
So, but that's the comic where that comes from. So in 1 week or 2 weeks, I will have a very strong preview for Jessica Jones.
Cool.
And the Supergirl thing, I referenced this a couple times. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agents of Carter. The Agents of
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter.
Right. The casts of those two shows have been engaged in this 8-month-long dub smash battle.
Right.
And this week, Coulson, Peggy, and Melissa Benoist, who plays Kara Jor-El, Supergirl, dropped a new one singing "Why Can't We Be Friends?" So you had Supergirl and the agents of so Marvel and DC being like, "Why can't we be friends?"
Yeah.
Very, very, very cute, very clever. I had known nothing about that actress, but now I have a positive. Now I like her because she was in that with Peggy Carter. So yeah, Supergirl comes out the first weekend of November, I believe.
I think it's the last weekend of October.
Okay, so it'd be like October 29th or something like that. Maybe.
You said Supergirl?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Supergirl is the end of October, and then shortly thereafter, Jessica Jones.
Yes. Well, we will do weekly reviews of all these. Enthusiasm may be a bit higher next week for Flash and Arrow, and may not spend 20 minutes bitching and complaining about Gotham.
Yeah, Gotham's have to fight for a spot because
correct.
Once all these shows are out, I mean, I guess the week that that Jessica Jones comes out, we may just have to do a second show or something because it's going to be a whole season, or because you don't want to do weekly reviews of Jessica Jones and wait to watch it, do you?
I don't know. That one is always difficult with those Netflix shows. Like they don't, they don't care about weekly reviews of it. So
Yeah, no, you're right. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Next week, big week. I'm excited. I can't wait for the Flash. I hope Arrow's better. And last year I thought it was going to be. I can't wait for Arrow either, but I'm really pumped for Flash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually more excited for Arrow, to be honest. I mean, he's going by Green Arrow, and Stephen Amell has been the greatest promoter of his television show ever.
He has been awesome. The stuff he does the WWE and just always on Twitter, and he defends the Grant Gustin Flash against the Ezra Flash. He's taken being the linchpin of the TV DCU very seriously.
Well, and he's a Blue Jays nut, so he's always tweeting about Josh Donaldson and whatnot, and that always endears me when people do that as well. So anyway, can't wait next week. All of these shows will be fighting with each other. MLB playoffs. It's a busy week. So we will try to be back next Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, let's try. I mean, obviously we can't do things before Wednesday. I guess if we get the chance, we can always be. Probably should do it Friday, and we should try and watch Heroes beforehand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, Heroes can be we don't have to break that down. I mean, because.
Well, I mean, Heroes technically isn't a comic book on TV.
Correct.
It's a TV. So we could always.
Hold on a second. We finish off. Can I hit the stop broadcast, or do we want to
we should probably do an official tag out.
Okay. Go for it.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Comic Books on TV. Talk to you next week.